What is the strangest dumbest thing that an adult you know believes? That it is called a glove box and not a glove box. Even after explaining why it is called glove box, she still defends glove. Where else are you supposed to keep your glove? I worked with a guy once who believed that the state of Florida was man-made from the dirt they used to create the Great Lakes. An old roommate of mine believes owls aren't real. In her mind, they are like unicorns. I have a co-worker who believes that wind power farms will cause all the wind to stop and result in the earth no longer spinning. Doesn't he know that wind farms are the propellers that keep the earth spinning? Without them, one half of the world will forever be in night. My aunt believes that the reason we invaded Iraq was actually to find the Holy Grail. George Bush and the Last Crusade. That urine is stored in your testicles. That unplugging an HDMI cable and using it for another device will cause the original device to overheat due to incompatibility with the second device. I work in South Korea. A large number of my Korean co-workers think it's a good idea, during hot weather, to turn on the air conditioning and open the window, because the air can cool down the room and the window is what lets in fresh air. They absolutely won't listen when I try to explain that all they're doing is letting the cold air out and the hot air in, and believe me, I've tried. High salary member of management at my retail store once tried to explain to me that when snorkeling it is possible to fill the foot-long snorkel with enough air to slowly take sips of air and stay down for around 30 minutes. She was absolutely convinced. I'd like to see them try that out. My sister-in-law, age 21, believes macadamia nuts are made in a factory. I've shown her a tree and nuts still in their shells which we cracked together. Nope. Factory. I don't know if she's serious or what, but it gets me riled up. I was in the car with my buddy, D, when we drove past a cow, years ago. For fun I said that's a weird looking dog. His face immediately twisted in confusion while he proceeded to correct me. Now, every time we pass an animal, that isn't a dog, I say it. It drives D insane to this day. That not wearing a seatbelt is safer than wearing one because he once knew this one guy that was thrown clear. My grandma never wears a seatbelt in a car because at my age, I'd rather die than be seriously maimed in a car crash. Sound logic, I guess. I will nominate myself for this one. Up until the age of 21, 22 or so, I believed a hermit was a reclusive person who lived in a tree, not in a treehouse, mind you, which might have been somewhat plausible, but the hollowed out bark of a tree, I imagined them living in the woods, in gigantic trees with a small door in the bark and no windows. It must have been something I read as a child in a fairy tale, and I never really thought about it later. All I can say is that I was laughed at a lot when this somehow once came up in conversation and I innocently started talking about this theory. I have no idea what I was thinking either. You probably read my side of the mountain. For years as a child I secretly wanted to live in a tree in the woods. My grandmother believes that magnets have healing properties. Anytime she has any sort of pain she does normal stuff like ice, but then she'll just hold a magnet on it. She even sleeps on a bed with magnets spaced out underneath the sheets. The weirdest part is that she's actually a very intelligent woman, and my grandfather is a doctor who has told her that the magnets are bulls. It's all fun and games until someone needs a pacemaker. My boyfriend won't eat eggs because he thinks the little white part attached to the yolk is roostages. He must be very attractive. I have an aunt who believes that you get better gas mileage when driving south because it's downhill. Show her a glow blade on its side. Clearly south is uphill until you reach the equator. I have a friend who insists that it's sprang instead of sprained. Recently her brother sprang his elbow. Tried to correct her. She wouldn't have it. Co-worker believes that each exhaust pipe in a car means there is an extra engine. 2 exhausts equals 2 engines. I convinced my girlfriend that I have a connection with traffic lights, and I know when they are going to turn green. She doesn't realize I can see the adjacent light turning red 15 feet from US. My boss believes that on television fishing shows they have scuba divers under the water that attach the fish to the hooks, because no one can catch that many fish in such a short time. I tried to explain editing once. It didn't work. Sitting on any floor at any time will give me hemorrhoids and infections. There are nerves in your tongue connecting it to all your organs. When you rinse your mouth with olive oil, these connections get stimulated and cause the organs to wash out toxins. I do this for 20 minutes every day and my skin has gotten notably better. Probably the best 20 minutes of her poor boyfriend's day because it prevents her from spewing BS like that full time. Girl is applying to be a police officer BTW. A close yet ditzy friend of mine once proclaimed she didn't understand how being a weather reporter was a job as it was so easy. After a bit of questioning, turns out she thought the weather was the same every year regardless of the actual year. So if it was sunny on the 3rd of June, every 3rd of June would be sunny. She'd also been using this method as a way to decide when to go on holiday. I miss that girl. Opening 2 windows will cause air currents that will cause massive amounts of pain to anyone staying in its way. There should be a documentary made about this person. I take steroids for an autoimmune disorder. You'd be surprised how many people think I'm taking the kind that make you jacked. I'm used to that response. The response I'm not used to was the guy who told me that they don't work and I should try faith healing instead. I take steroids for an autoimmune disorder. You'd be surprised how many people think I'm taking the kind that make you jacked. I hope you pounded those people into the ground and then lactated on their graves. A friend said to me last New Year's Eve, "I can't drink. I think I'm allergic to alcohol. Every time I drink, my stomach just gets really upset and I throw up." She then proceeded to drink wine coolers all night because she couldn't taste the alcohol. So it tricked her stomach onto thinking it was non-alcoholic. It was so hard not to laugh in her face. I too am allergic to a half gallon of vodka. While I was teaching in Korea, all of my co-teachers believed in fan death. The idea is simple. Close your doors and windows, turn on a fan, go to sleep, and you'll die. Explanations included the idea that the fan would chop up the oxygen so that you couldn't breathe it, the fan would somehow create a vacuum in the room so you would suffocate, or that with the fan blowing and no circulation you would get hypothermic. I also had co-teachers tell me that if I didn't eat kimchi I would get very sick, and that the food could cure everything from swine flu to AIDS, and even homosexuality. Sometimes I miss that place and its magical backwardsness. My teacher believes that vaccines don't cause autism, but they cause satanism. WTF. So many kick-ass band names from this: satanic injection, God vaccine, evil needle. I know a 40-plus-year-old woman that believes she's the reincarnation of an Atlantean princess, gifted with magical powers, and that's why she not only has a badly tattooed UV moon on her forehead but also why she wears a cloak everywhere with her nipples showing. Apparently, Atlanteans are super into the whole frick the police deal, and to heck with sparing us the sight of your outdated nipples. Bonus points. She's now dating a 21-year-old guy who's apparently her long-lost also magic and reincarnated lover who she's got convinced is a mage. And that M is totally good for you. I wish to frick I was making this up. That M is totally good for you. Now it makes sense. My mother thought tuna's dolphin meat. Tastes good and it makes you smarter. My uncle believes that planes have to fly backwards when they cross time zones to make sure they arrive on time. I'm unclear on how he thinks this works, or I would explain it better. I don't know how old you are, but my uncle and father would always tell me weird crap like this when I was young to frick with me. They are not stupid people, just like to troll kids. One of my friends who has since graduated from college with a master's and has a high-paying accounting job believes that Kim Jong-il really holds the record for most holes in one in a round of golf. This is Girl Pepe. She only appears once in every 50,000 memes, like in 3 seconds for good luck. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.